Your money is not governed by the economy. It is not ruled by inflation. It is not controlled by politicians, employers, algorithms, or accidents. Your money, whether it floods or withholds, whether it arrives easily or escapes you, is governed by law, spiritual law, metaphysical law, the word law. And there is one law, just one, that separates the soul who walks in wealth from the soul who remains in lack. It is not the law of labor. It is not the law of saving. It is not the law of strategy. It is the law of substitution. And it is this law, and this law alone, that decides whether you remain broke or become rich in the eyes of spirit. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot speak lack and expect wealth. You cannot carry fear and command provision. You must substitute the lie with truth, instantly and repeatedly, until truth becomes your only language, your only rhythm, your only agreement. The subconscious accepts only what is repeated, and it makes no distinction between a truth and a lie. It will build your life around whatever is said most often. So if your inner conversation is, "I don't know how I'll pay this," then the law moves to ensure confusion. But if your declaration is, "My supply is now visible and abundant," the law rushes to fulfill that word. I tell you with full authority, your mouth is your checkbook. Every sentence is a deposit or a debt. Every phrase is a command or a cancellation. You are not waiting on a miracle. You are waiting to stop reinforcing lack with your language. The law is not withholding wealth. Your word is. Your vibration is. Your loyalties are. And in the next 25 minutes, we will burn every lie you've spoken, reverse every word of defeat, and rebuild your financial rhythm from the ground up. Not with effort, but with law. Not with hustle, but with truth. Because the line is clear and the law is final. You are either broke by belief or rich by command. There is no in-between. There is only agreement. The law of substitution is not optional. It is not passive. It is not a gentle concept to ponder on rainy afternoons. It is the law that determines whether the spirit you carry becomes form in your bank account or remains locked in potential, buried beneath unspoken truth. This law says clearly, you cannot think two things at once. You cannot serve both wealth and worry. You cannot carry a vision of prosperity in your heart while speaking of shortage with your mouth. One must go. One must yield. One must be replaced. That is the law. When I say substitution, I do not mean imagination. I mean replacement with authority. Every time you are tempted to speak lack, replace it. Every time you feel fear about bills, replace it. Every time you want to say, "I can't afford it," replace it. Not with a wish, not with a fantasy, but with a spiritual weapon, with a declaration forged in truth and backed by law. Let me give you the scripture, for you must know the spiritual root of this. Let the weak say, "I am strong." Joel 3:10. Not think it, not journal it, not whisper it with apology. Say it. Declare it. Replace the visible lie with invisible law, and then walk in the rhythm of that law until the lie has no more form. That verse is not metaphor. It is mechanism. God did not say, "Let the weak hope they are strong." He said, "Let the weak say, I am strong," which means, let the broke say, "I am rich." Let the unpaid say, "I am supplied." Let the behind say, "I am caught up in divine timing." You cannot afford, not spiritually, not mentally, not financially, to carry the phrase, "I can't afford that." Every time you speak it, you tell the law to shrink. Every time you agree with it, you choke off supply. You cut off divine creativity. You shut down channels you cannot see. The law of substitution demands that in the very moment lack rises, you speak truth in its place, that you don't argue with lack. You don't mourn over it. You replace it. The reason many remain in poverty is not because they don't want abundance, it's because they refuse to give up the familiar rhythm of lack. Their speech is loyal to the past. Their declarations are soaked in memory. But divine law is not based on memory. It is based on command. And the moment you say, "This is mine by divine right," the moment you say, My supply is permanent and unfolding. The law has no choice but to obey. Because the law does not work for the emotional. It works for the consistent. The law of substitution is holy. It is surgical. It is unstoppable. It does not ask how long you've been broke. It does not consider how deep the debt is. It only asks, what are you speaking now? Because what you speak now will either break the old cycle or bond you deeper into it. You can cry over the past and stay bound, or you can replace the lie in real time and rise. So I ask you now, what have you been saying about money that must be burned? What phrases have you allowed to enter your atmosphere that would bankrupt a king? What joke, what truth, what self-deprecating comment has tied your tongue to the vibration of defeat? The law of substitution is merciful. It does not shame you for the past. It simply asks that you replace it now. Speak truth now. Obey law now. And the law, like gravity, will not delay. It will move. It will pull. It will provide. Because truth spoken rhythmically is wealth in motion, let us now move from knowing the law to applying it with fire. Knowing the law of substitution is not enough. You must wield it, like a sword, like a lightning rod, like the very breath that restores order to a disordered world. You have spoken enough about lack. You have declared your shortages and your delays and your disappointments long enough. But the law does not ask what you've spoken before. It asks, what will you speak now? You say, money is hard to get, but that is a lie. And as long as that lie lives in your mouth, your world must obey it. What is the truth? Money is my servant, not my master. Say it now. Say it aloud. Say it with rhythm. Money is my servant, not my master. You do not chase it. You do not beg for it. You do not worship it. You command it. You draw it. You assign it. You welcome it as a reflection of your vibration, not the reason for it. You say, I can't afford that. But that phrase is a prison. It locks you into the vibration of not enough. And you are not here to vibrate lack. You are here to vibrate law. What is the truth? If it is mine by divine right, it cannot be kept from me. Say it again. If it is mine by divine right, it cannot be kept from me. You are not asking the universe to bless you. You are announcing that the blessing is already encoded into your name, into your voice, into your divine blueprint. And when you speak, the doors swing open, not by force, but by identity. Every time you feel the fear of money rise, every time you feel the breath quicken at the thought of a bill, every time you hear the mind whisper, there's not enough, you must act immediately. Do not delay. Do not wait for inspiration. You must replace the lie in real time. Do not let it land. Do not let it linger. Speak the opposite. Speak the higher law. Speak the truth until the lie is shattered by rhythm. Let me give you the protocol. This is your spiritual method for substitution. Identify the lie immediately. Do not let it blend in. Do not let it pretend to be realistic. Speak its opposite, not passively, but with volume, with vibration, with commitment. Repeat the truth 3 times, out loud, with no compromise in tone or energy. Move on as though the truth has already been installed. Let me illustrate. The lie rises. Rent is coming, and I don't know how I'll cover it. You interrupt. That's a lie. All my needs are met now by divine supply. You say it again. All my needs are met now by divine supply. A 3rd time. All my needs are met now by divine supply. And then you walk forward, not with anxiety, but with the knowing that law has been declared and form must now respond. This is not theory. This is not a trick. This is the law. And the law has no emotional agenda. It simply fulfills the command that is spoken most often. It is loyal to rhythm. It is faithful to repetition. And it will reconfigure the entire substance of your life to match your dominant declaration. So I ask you now, what are your 3 most common money lies? Identify them, replace them, rewrite your language in the next hour, not tomorrow. Now you cannot rise above what you refuse to rename. and the renaming begins with substitution. The law is simple, but it is unyielding. You cannot speak like a beggar and receive like a child of God. And once you substitute the lie for truth and speak it until it becomes your new frequency, your wealth will no longer be a mystery. It will be a manifestation. It is not enough to speak the truth in crisis. You must speak it in rhythm. Wealth is not summoned in panic. It is cultivated in practice. You must no longer treat declarations like emergencies, uttered only when the pressure builds or the bills scream. That is not mastery. That is fear in disguise. The spiritual millionaire does not wait for a financial dip to speak supply. She speaks wealth every morning, every noon, every night. Because wealth is not what she chases, it is what she commands. Let me give you a routine, a divine wealth structure, a rhythm that aligns with the law of substitution and plants new grooves in your subconscious mind until it obeys prosperity like breath obeys the body. In the morning, before your feet touch the floor, before the body reaches for the phone, you speak. All channels are now open to receive. This is your wake-up call to the universe. You are not commanding the channel. You are declaring it already opened. This shifts your posture from need to receptivity. You are not waiting for wealth. You are receiving it in divine rhythm. You are not blocked. You are unblocked. Say it 3 times. Say it like a decree. Say it like law. At midday, when the routines of the world try to pull you into appearances, when you look at a balance or feel the vibration of an old fear, you interrupt the pattern and say, I expect lavish increase from the unseen. Not small gain, not eventual trickles. Lavish increase, the kind that defies the logic of the mind, the kind that does not explain itself, the kind that comes because law was declared and consistency was kept. Expectation is not hope, it is certainty in spiritual motion, and the law must rush to meet it. At night, before the body collapses and the soul rests, you speak this final seal. My words of wealth are now forming into visible substance. You are not begging for results. You are claiming form. You are announcing that every truth you spoke that day has been recorded, received, and now materializes in ways you may not see, but must trust. This is your substitution schedule. It is not a burden. It is your spiritual operating system. And if you obey it without failure for 14 days, you will not need to ask whether it's working. You will feel the new current in your being, not as emotion, but as identity. You will begin to walk differently, speak differently, decide differently, because truth has become your default. Let me give you a metaphor. You are not just a child of God. You are the CEO of your divine estate. Every day you either fund your future with your words or bankrupt it with your fears. Every hour is a boardroom. Every thought is a transaction. Every sentence is a spiritual wire transfer. You can speak poverty and drain your power, or you can speak wealth and command expansion. But you must choose. You cannot do both. The law of substitution forbids it. So do not wait for your environment to change. Command it. Don't wait for the account to rise before you shift your tone. Shift your tone, and the account must follow. Do not ask, can I afford to think this way? Ask, can I afford not to? Because I assure you, the one who walks in truth 3 times a day, who obeys the rhythm, who substitutes the lie, who repeats the wealth until it shapes their vibration, that one cannot remain broke. Not because of magic, because of law. And the law, when obeyed, makes wealth inevitable. You are not here to hope for riches. You are here to speak them into view. If you are still broke, it is not because you are lazy. It is not because you are undeserving. It is because your inner script has not changed. You are still repeating the language of lack, the rhythm of survival, the emotional residue of those who came before you. Poverty has become an identity, not because it is true, but because it has been rehearsed, and the subconscious mind, loyal and unquestioning, has obeyed every line you have ever believed. But I tell you this with divine certainty. You do not owe loyalty to generational lack. You do not owe silence to protect the rhythms of your parents. You do not owe allegiance to the phrases you heard at the kitchen table, in the school hallway, in the echo of unpaid bills. Those rhythms were never divine. They were never law. They were rehearsed reactions to a world that forgot its own power. And now you, chosen, awakened, divinely appointed, you will break them. Say it now. I do not carry my ancestors' agreements with lack. Say it again. I do not carry my ancestors' agreements with lack. These are not affirmations. These are cancellations. You are cutting the cord. You are ending the generational transaction. You are no longer a vessel for the vibration of defeat. You must understand, your mind is not broken. It is trained. And what has been trained can be retrained. The poverty reflex, the tightening in your chest when a bill arrives, the shrinking when you see someone wealthy, the envy, the fear, the flinch. These are not your nature. They are learned. And they can be unlearned by repetition, not emotional repetition, spiritual repetition. You must replace the family phrases with declarations of law. Where they said, money doesn't grow on trees, you say, money grows from divine ideas and flows through spiritual law. Where they said, we're not that kind of people, you say, I am the seed of divine royalty, and my inheritance is abundance. Where they whispered, that's too expensive, you declare, if it is mine by divine right, it is now being delivered without delay. There was a woman who came to me, tired, heavy, ashamed of her past. Her family had never known overflow. Their conversations were soaked in scarcity. She said, I feel like I'm betraying them by wanting more. I told her, you are not betraying them. You are redeeming the line. You are not abandoning them. You are lifting them. And she began, slowly, daily, with fire, to speak prosperity into her own name. She said, I rewrite the family story now. I am the first to declare the truth. Within weeks, new contracts began to appear. New channels opened. Family members began to comment on her glow, her shift, her peace. You see, she did not wait for them to approve. She reprogrammed herself, and the pattern dissolved, not through force, through law. So now you must ask, what phrases do I still carry that belong to someone else? What conclusions about money were handed to me, not chosen by me? What subconscious vows have I made to remain small, to remain modest, to remain broke? Today you break them. Today you replace them. Today you declare with rhythm, my wealth is not inherited from man. It is remembered from spirit. This is the reprogramming. This is the spiritual reversal. You are not here to maintain the old vibration. You are here to replace it with the frequency of law. And when the mind is reprogrammed with truth, the life must obey it. The mind is not moved by passion. It is moved by pattern. Your subconscious does not care if you feel inspired. It does not care if you are desperate. It does not respond to tears or longings or even great emotional epiphanies. It responds to rhythm. And rhythm is what builds your new financial identity. Wealth is not emotional. It is spiritual. And spirit speaks in repetition, in decree, in the daily drill of divine affirmation. So if you want to be rich, not once, not temporarily, but permanently, you must reprogram your subconscious the way an artist sculpts clay, with pressure, with rhythm, with holy repetition. You must command yourself into wealth. You must declare until the old vibration is drowned out and the only voice your mind knows is the voice of truth. I now give you a wealth rhythm. You will speak these 3 declarations 3 times a day for the next 21 days, morning, noon, and night. No exceptions, no apologies, no skipping because of mood or schedule. This is your training ground. This is your initiation. This is your covenant in rhythm. Declaration 1. Money comes to me from expected and unexpected sources. You are no longer bound to paycheck logic. You are not limited to what you can see. The law has infinite channels. You do not control the how. You only command the now. And this declaration opens the gates. It erases the tension of need. It installs the vibration of supply. Declaration 2. I am open to receive what no eye has seen. Let spirit surprise you. Let the divine unfold wealth in forms you never anticipated. Say it until your body relaxes into possibility. Say it until your heart no longer fears abundance. Say it until every cell of your being expects the impossible to arrive like breath. Declaration 3. I do not chase. I attract what is mine by divine law. You are not a beggar. You are not a scrambler. You are not running toward your provision. You command it. You speak it. You attract it through rhythm, identity, and law. You are the center of divine circulation. You do not chase, you radiate. And what belongs to you must return. 3 declarations. 3 times a day. Spoken aloud. Not whispered. Not doubted. Not rushed. Spoken as law. Spoken as rhythm. Spoken as identity. This is not a spiritual challenge. It is a spiritual replacement. It is your way of telling the subconscious, there is no other rhythm here now, only wealth, only truth, only divine increase. Imagine the mind as a bank. Every declaration is a deposit. Every repetition is compound interest. Every day you skip is a missed credit. And every week you persist is a multiplication of the vibration. The wealth is already yours, but your subconscious must be trained to stop blocking it. The lie must be broken. The pattern must be reprogrammed. And rhythm is the only way. And remember this, the subconscious mind does not argue. It accepts. So give it something worth accepting. Give it something that aligns with spirit. Give it something that matches the opulence of your divine inheritance. Speak these words not as hope, but as command. Not as therapy, but as truth enforcement. And the more you speak, the more natural it becomes. And the more natural it becomes, the faster the outer world reorders itself to reflect your new wealth identity. This is not magic. This is not chance. This is law in motion, and it is moved by rhythm. Now comes the moment of covenant. You have heard the truth. You have tasted the law. But until you commit, deeply, publicly, rhythmically, you are still a visitor to the vibration of wealth. And I do not speak to visitors. I speak to those ready to build a house in the land of demonstration. To those who say, I will not leave this rhythm until my world has bent to it. So I give you now the challenge, not for your ego, not for performance, but for permanence. For the next 14 days, you will not allow one word of lack to exit your mouth. Not a joke, not a sigh, not a casual comment. You will become spiritually mute to the language of not enough. You will treat every phrase of poverty like poison, because it is, and in its place, you will substitute truth. You will interrupt every doubt with a declaration. You will overwrite every fear with rhythm. You will speak as the wealthy speak, not those who beg, but those who know. Here is your protocol. Each morning, before the body moves, you will declare, my voice writes my wealth. Say it 3 times, with rhythm, with breath, with finality. This sets the tone. This reminds the mind who is in command. Throughout the day, you will keep a substitution journal. Every time a lack phrase tries to rise, I can't afford this. This is too much. I'll never catch up. You will write it down, then immediately write its reversal. This is how you train your vibration. This is how you recode the subconscious. This is how you rewire the map of your financial life. Each night, you will close the day by sealing it with this line. I have spoken wealth today, therefore wealth must now appear. You do not ask. You command in review. You do not plead. You seal with authority. This is how the master ends the day. Not in question, but in conclusion. And for these 14 days, you will do this without fail. No skipping, no softening, no apologies. You are not doing this for quick money. You are doing this to become unshakable, to become immovable, to become so faithful to law that even in silence, your vibration speaks the word. You may say, "What if I forget?" And I say, "Command yourself to remember." You may say, "What if it feels silly?" And I say, "Let the old self feel embarrassed. She will soon be gone." You may say, "What if I don't see results right away?" And I say, "The harvest doesn't grow in the same hour the seed is planted, but it grows, always, because law is not delayed, only obedience is." So this is your challenge, this is your covenant, this is your contract with truth. And if you complete it, you will no longer ask if the law works. You will become the proof that it does. You are not becoming rich, you are becoming aligned, you are becoming obedient, you are becoming rhythmic. And that is what turns word into wealth. Now we speak the rhythm that writes reality. These are not wishes, these are not mantras. These are financial decrees backed by divine law. Each one is a spiritual strike against the false idol of poverty. Each one is a hammer blow against generational scarcity. Speak them with rhythm, speak them with breath, speak them with the finality of one who does not bargain with truth. Say, "I am rich in spirit, therefore rich in form." You are not waiting for a payment. You are not hoping for a raise. You are rich because wealth is your nature. You are rich because law has said so. And what is declared in spirit must form in matter. Say, "Money is drawn to my vibration of truth." You do not hustle, you harmonize. You do not chase, you become magnetic. Truth is your frequency, and money is simply form responding to that signal. Say, "I speak only what I wish to see." No more rehearsing debt, no more reporting shortage. Your mouth is a gate, your word is a womb. You will not speak what you do not want born. Say, "My supply is never delayed, only commanded." The law is not waiting on the economy, it is waiting on your consistency. Your wealth is not on hold, it is hovering, waiting for the voice that will not flinch. Say, "Every word I speak is substance made visible." You are not just speaking, you are sculpting. You are not just hoping, you are constructing invisible form into physical demonstration. Now seal it. Because I align with law, I cannot remain broke. Not might, not maybe, cannot. It is a divine impossibility for one who obeys law to remain in lack. If the rhythm is obeyed, the result is guaranteed. This is the rhythm that reprograms. This is the law that restores. This is the wealth you were born to command. If this word entered your soul like fire, if it exposed the lie you've been living, if it shattered the old rhythm of lack, if it stirred something ancient and royal in you, then I say, do not let it pass without covenant. Speak now. Write in the comments not for me, but for the spirit in you that is ready to be seen, to be heard, to be confirmed. Write, "I align with the law of wealth." Or write your favorite declaration from today's message. When you speak it, you confirm it. When you write it, you seal it. If you felt the vibration of truth here, stay close. Subscribe not as a gesture, but as a spiritual discipline. Let this channel be your upper room, your training ground in rhythm, law, and identity. Do not wander. Let this be your rhythm. Each video is not content, it is covenant. It is correction. It is confirmation. And most of all, return tomorrow. Speak again. Command again. Declare again. The law does not require perfection. It requires rhythm. And every time you show up, every time you speak truth in place of fear, you are multiplying your wealth in the invisible, and very soon it must appear. You are no longer broke. You are no longer waiting. You are no longer hoping. You are commanding. And because you obey the law, you cannot be denied. And so it is.